all things educational linguistics, and also some of our top students that we're very proud of. We're going to get some awards today. We've got a big program. I don't know if this microphone is working, but I'm going to just keep holding it. It's working.
Yes. Thank you.
Good. So yes, a few remarks first. In addition to welcome, thank you for coming. Some of you may have seen a paper that will be on the podium on the way out, and it's crucial if you're finishing up this year to celebrate by being here with us and then by filling out that form. It's called Next Steps, and it's about your life after Penn GSE. We want to keep track of you and know everything about your life, what you're doing. So fill that out, and Sarah will be collecting them and turning them into our Career Services Center, and they'll be there with you in your GSE life. Okay, be sure to do that. But now we're going to move on to presenting our awards. We've got quite a few awards to give away, and we're just going to kind of churn through them. We're going to start with our awards for our doctoral students, and then we have a few special awards for our master's students in TESOL, and then one for our Intercultural Communication students. So let's start. The first award we have to give away is called the Nessa Wolfson Award, named after someone very dear to linguistics, and Nelson Flores is going to hand that one off.
Hello, everyone. My students are here. This is Friday. I love the energy coming from this group here. So as Dr. Rymes said, I'm giving the Nessa Wolfson Award. And for those of you who don't know, Nessa Wolfson was kind of a pioneer in educational linguistics. She was instrumental to getting educational linguistics as a discipline here, kind of the reputation that it now has. She also was the first woman to be tenured at the University of Pennsylvania Graduate School of Education. So she's kind of a really big thinker and important person in our field, and so we tried to give this award to someone who is also a big thinker and really important in our field. And so I'm going to talk about Mark, who is over there. You can see him because he's above everybody. Who is this year's winner of the award. And when I was thinking about what to say about Mark, I realized he's the first student that I brought in as a doctoral student when I went to the University of Pennsylvania. So the first time I got to pick a student to work with me, I picked Mark. And sometimes people who know both of us probably are like, well, maybe that's an odd coupling in some ways, because we are very different in some ways. I kind of am much more kind of flamboyant and polemical. Mark is a very careful, thoughtful, precise thinker. But somehow I think that the differences between us are complemented by the many similarities that we have. In particular, our passions for really thinking about how deeply some of the challenges that we confront in our field really are embedded within the institutions that we work in. And really kind of having a passion for pushing our field to really grapple with the complexities of what's actually happening in classrooms in ways that are very respectful of the teachers who are doing the really hard work in contexts that oftentimes aren't supportive of the types of things that we would like to happen in our classrooms. And so in his dissertation work, he followed just one teacher. I mean, how can you do a whole dissertation on just one teacher, right? He followed this teacher in her planning across a full year and looked at the many resources that she was using to try to plan in her classroom and the ways that particular skills were curricularized in ways that didn't necessarily position her students in ways that were the most conducive to their learning. And so the implications of his dissertation, I think, went very deeply, really getting us to think about those of us who want students to be positioned in more positive ways in classrooms, really have to think about all of the things that are happening in classes, all of the resources that teachers have available to them, and the ways that they oftentimes reinforce the types of things that we don't necessarily want happening in classrooms. And so when people say, what's the practical implication of that? I think Mark would say, well, the practical implication of that is to really understand that the problem runs really deep. And that is a practical implication, and that's something that we need to grapple with. And I think in that way, Mark and I have a lot in common because it's something that I find myself doing in my own work. And so with that said, I would love to congratulate Mark and Nessa Wolfson. You can come up and
our next award is called the Leadership in Educational Linguistics Award. And it wasn't difficult to choose somebody to win this award. The awardee is Andrea, Leone-Pizzighella. She has been a true leader in our program. Maybe she stepped outside. She also has a baby with her. So, is she on here? Maybe we should go to the next person until she gets back. So we're going to hold off on that. And we're moving on to the Educational Linguistics International Award, which Nancy Hornberger is here to present to another doctoral student.
I've written out some notes on Frances. She embodies international leadership in educational linguistics in her life and in her scholarship. She entered our Ph.D. program already determined to learn her heritage language, Quechua, and she did. And in the process, she also mobilized and nurtured what is now a thriving Quechua program at the University of Pennsylvania. And she also helped to found an international interdisciplinary conference called Thinking Andean Studies, now in its third year. She, at the same time, she instigated the first offering of my course, Indigenous Education and Language Revitalization, now in its fourth run. And it's a course that explores Indigenous language revitalization contexts from every corner of the world, with participation from undergraduate and graduate students from GSE, Penn, and beyond. And this was really a concept that Frances promoted as my student, and she got me to do it, and I'm so glad she did. Frances went on to carry out a 20-month ethnographic study of urban youth in Cusco's Sacred Valley, who were learning their heritage language in high school. And she looked at what it means to them, their identities, their families, their communities, their teachers. She minutely describes language socialization trajectories and communicative repertoires, as well as the darker side of linguistic othering that the youth experience, both youth from the valley and from the highlands, surrounding highlands called Puras. And she identifies recognizable models of Quechua speakerhood that had not been documented or described before, such as the proud Cusqueño, the Quechua denier, the Quechua hablante, who is different from the Quechua speaker. She situates her work in and draws implications for language education policy and language revitalization. I can't see Frances. Where she is. There you are. Where's Frances? And she draws implications for language education policy and language curricularization. And when she returns to Peru after graduation, she's going to be teaching educational linguistics at the prestigious Catholic University of Peru. She's also going to be helping to prepare mentoring and teaching Indigenous bilingual intercultural education teachers at the Cayetano University. So she's going to be putting into practice right away all the things that she's learned and practices so well here in educational linguistics. She joins a distinguished lineage. I'm proud to say, like Nelson, I'll make a little personal comment here. She joins a distinguished lineage of educational linguistics PhDs who have worked on Quechua. including Kendall King, who many of you know, Serafin Coronel Molina, Nicholas Limerick, and now Frances, who I've had the honor of working with to continue to collaborate and promote the well-being and lives of Quechua speakers, Quechuistas, and Indian studies. So, Frances Chai, Chaski Kuai Santoi Wagner, Untitled Educational Linguistics International Award, Miss
Andrea Leone-Pizzighella and Tito, her son. They're both amazing. But Andrea, as I was about to say before, she like to enumerate the types of leadership that she's exhibited in linguistics right now would be, it would take all night. So I'll just tell a few of the things that she has been involved in. I mean, okay, her dissertation is about 3 different sort of tiers of schooling in Italy. She spent a year in a small village in northern Italy, poor thing, but really embedded in these classrooms and different images of success, where Mark was maybe focused on teacher, the perspective of the teacher. Andrea's research is deeply focused on what students do in classrooms. And if you think of like the United States, where we also have sort of series of like different types of schools, right? We have prestigious private or magnet schools, and then we have more sort of middle level schools you can go to, and then we have vocational schools or track schools. And you can imagine the images of being a student in each of those schools are very different, and they lead to different types of trajectories of identity and life, really, for people in those 3 schools. So what Andrea did over a year was something that would take most of us like a lifetime to do in terms of collecting data, doing analysis, deeply embedding yourself ethnographically within these communities of kids who are like, 18-year-olds. So that's her dissertation. But when she first got here, she worked with practically everybody on our research, doing everything. She worked on, I consider her like an intellectual collaborator still to this day. We've written many papers together. She came up to the suburban high school with me many times and hung out with high school kids there. She's also been instrumental in sort of supporting our Penn King's Link, partnership we have with King's College London. She's still helping us do that. Meanwhile, she's been teaching courses. She's also an inspiration to just about, I think, everybody who's a doctoral student in linguistics right now. She's like, she's obviously like a literal mother, but she's also she's been a very sort of supportive figure for everybody in the program. And we're all going to miss her a lot because at the end of the summer, she's actually moving to Italy. So, but hopefully I'll see her very frequently in Italy. Anyway, so that's enough said for now, and I just want to say congratulations. Come on up. students that are finishing up their master's degrees. The first one is called the Excellence in Intercultural Communication Award for our top student in the Intercultural Communication program. And here to present that is Santoi Wagner.
So I have the pleasure of presenting the award for Excellence in Intercultural Communication. I should say that the award winner, Caroline Burkhardt, is this award should actually be for excellence in ICC and in TESOL, because Caroline has really ignored any kind of artificial boundaries between ICC and TESOL, and she's instead let her theoretical and practical interests really drive her work at GSC and in the field. And you really have inspired so many of us with your commitment to understanding and building community in your internships, in all the jobs that you do, and in your classes. And I've had the pleasure of having you in a number of my classes, and I have to say that really your performance week in and week out is really in the spirit of ICC, and it really epitomizes what trying to communicate across all sorts of different is all about. So I'm really very happy to present to you the Award for Excellence in Intercultural Communication.
Now we have a couple of awards for students in our master's program in TESOL. The first one is named after a professor in our program, Pica, former professor. She's since passed away. She was very influential in the TESOL program, and this award commemorates her and her stature in the field. And it's called the Pica Award for Excellence in TESOL, presented by Anne.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So, the Pica Award for Excellence in TESOL goes to a student who's demonstrated superior skill and creativity with respect to teaching, a thoughtful and inquisitive stance to research, and admirable professionalism with respect to all her contributions to the TESOL program, which have been many. And so today, it's my pleasure to announce Lusha Li as the winner of this award. Lusha, you have continued to amaze me with your dedication to your work, despite being far away from your family, and in particular, your young daughter. I am so proud of all the work you've done in the TESOL program, and I am confident that you will continue to be a leader in our field. Congratulations.
And we have, in fact, the faculty has, in fact, given the award to that sort of person. But this year, the faculty decided to do something different. Not necessarily somebody who's extroverted, but somebody, we wanted to recognize an inner quality, the spirit of the inner quality. The spirit that comes out in deep reflective thinking, the way in which this person treats others, the sincerity with which she goes about her life. That seemed to us to be a Spirit Award worthy person. And of course, that person is Lusha She sits in the front, where are you? There you are. She sits in the front row, at least in my, she sits in the front row, at least in my classes, right in the middle of the front row. She always, she's attentive, she's modest, you wouldn't even say shy, hardworking. She always does more than what she's been asked to do, and her coursework is high quality. But she's done more than that. She spent the whole year teaching at Motor Fasciale, and the students there asked her to develop an ESL class for adult learners in technology. She didn't have a course, but guess what she did? She developed one. She created one. And the course was loved, and they loved their teacher, the students, the adult women at Motor Fasciale. I think the TESOL award is very deserving, because it's being presented to a graduate and master's student in recognition of outstanding service to the TESOL program and exceptional commitment to TESOL professional and scholarly activity. This is a big challenge here. Luke and I, you're very deserving of this honor. I do hope that you will continue with the commitment and the inner spirit and turn shy into shine. Thank you so much.
Diane Larsen-Freeman right now, get a little taste. You already have that of her brilliance and eloquence. And now we're going to transition to the next part of our program, which is all about Diane Larsen-Freeman. Yeah, so I'm not going to say anything right now, but we have a few other people that are going to come up to say a few words about Diane, starting with Anne. Pomerantz.
My words are not actually, I'm the animator in Goffmanian terms. I'm speaking on behalf of Christina Fry, who wanted to be here today, but she's ill, so she asked me to say a few words on her behalf. Dear Diane, I am so sorry I cannot be here in person today. I was looking forward to celebrating all that you have given freely and wholeheartedly to the language education community. On behalf of the School of Arts and Sciences and the Penn Language Center, I want to thank you for providing a shining light of excellence, humbleness, professionalism, and most of all, reliable scholarship. Your steadfast example has made a difference to language education at Penn. You model for us that combining sophisticated theoretical research with practical know-how is possible. Your contributions and call for action in the Douglas Fir Group will continue to resonate with us and the graduate students within SAS, thereby strengthening the network of practitioners. Thank you for being here.
All right, and now we have a few of some of our students who are closely associated with the Penn Language Center and have been sort of students of Diane Larsen-Freeman, but also mentees for a long period of time. So Maria and Lily Rose and Sophie, what come up?
So the goal of any profession is to transcend the occupation, to find inspiration in our common humanity, in the unexpected and the often overlooked, to cherish the beauty of simple things, to tell those stories. This is how I would describe having iced tea is with Diane. Once a year, we would get together with her and go to the White Dog Cafe, where we would enjoy the simple pleasures of Parmesan truffle fries and each other's company. This is a time where Diane can momentarily put down her hat of an academic and be a friend, celebrating our victories, supporting us in our challenges, and offering caring advice. Not in a million years would I have pictured this as I stared at the TESOL Boston 2010 brochure during my first year as a TESOL master's student. Specifically, I was staring at an event that was being advertised during the conference, Afternoon Tea with Dr. Diane Larsen-Freeman, What would that be like, I wondered? What would we even talk about? That was such a silly question because it felt like I had read every book she had ever published during those 2 years as a master's student. In fact, when I went to go see her on-campus presentation on teaching grammaring in 2015, I brought the first book that I had ever bought as a graduate student, Techniques and Principles in Language Teaching. I had seen Lily Rose ask another visiting academic to sign a textbook and thought it was such a cool idea. However, when the time came, I got cold feet. I can't do it, I muttered to Lily Rose. Yes, you can, Pica. You know you'll be kicking yourself for missing this chance. She's your role model, and I'm sure she would be happy to know that. With her encouragement, I worked up the nerve to ask Dr. Larsen-Freeman to sign my book. But I had gotten a lot more than I bargained for in that interaction. Just call me Diane, she said sweetly. She began to tell me how she was teaching at GSE this spring. I can remember seeing her lips continue to move as she was talking, but all I could focus on was this newfound knowledge. She teaches here. I can't believe it. Maybe we can meet up sometime. This would be amazing. You know, since I'll be here this spring, maybe we can get together and grab lunch. She read my mind. That would be great, I said, perhaps a little too enthusiastically. The lunch date came and went, and I wasn't sure what to expect. The lunch date came and I wasn't sure what to expect. I had invited Lily Rose and Sophie because this was an experience worth sharing. Should I reread some of the textbooks from a couple of years ago? Maybe review the abstracts of our latest work on complexity theory? None of this was necessary because in this lunch we were able to meet Diane in a different light. As much as she delighted in her scholarship, she shared with us another side of her. Through a combination of tenacity, inquisitiveness, and foresight, I met a woman that knew her worth, yet felt an enormous sense of gratitude. A scholar who is confident in her convictions, yet is humble about her impact. For us, our spring teas with Diane inspired us to look beyond the theoretical and to embrace the connections between similar souls that had a passion for language education. Connections like these can be made even in the most unlikely and simple situations. To cherish these moments when they happen, to get to tell stories like these.
Thank you, Maria. Yes, stories like these don't happen every day. Just the fact that our stars align with Diane's is nothing short of a bright and beautiful marvel. Thanks to Maria's knowledge of Diane's work and to our shared true love for teaching and learning, I worked up the courage to ask Diane if I could audit not one, but 2 of her courses. And she, with her generous and welcoming spirit, accepted me into her classes. One was second language development, and it was amazing. This opportunity came at a time in my career when I was really beginning to feel grounded in language teaching and learning, which only took a couple of decades. Diane's course helped me to solidify some of the knowledge that I already had and to grow and expand as a teacher and researcher. Actually experiencing Diane, being in her classroom, learning from her, watching her interact with others, listening to the way she encourages community and fairly demands rigor, while giving all of that back at the same exact time is spellbinding. I am not exaggerating when I say that I sat on the edge of my seat for every minute of every lesson. Now on to the second course, the structure of the English language. As fortune will continue to have it, just yesterday, Facebook reminded me that 2 years ago to the day, yesterday, I posted a picture of a detail of a quiz that I had taken in Diane's English class. In green, Diane had written, "Much improved, Lily Rose!" exclamation point. My caption to that picture reads, quote, "This structure of the English language course nearly broke my brain, but I loved it. What an extraordinary teacher, Diane Larsen-Freeman, forever." And I have the picture here of that memory to show you. It's true, if you ask Maria, who took the course with me at the same time, and ask Diane herself, I believe they will confirm that there was smoke coming out of my ears every week, because this really was challenging for me. But Diane never ceased to encourage me to push myself and to recognize my efforts. She embodies strength, intelligence, generosity, and curiosity. She is not only the teacher, researcher, and mentor that I and we admire and respect, but the rare kind of person that we aspire to channel in our own work and lives. Selfishly, I admit I wish our spring teas could last forever, but I also know that what we have learned from you goes on in our teaching and multiplies exponentially with our students and colleagues. Now I have used lots of words to tell you, but I don't believe I'll ever know how to really express my admiration and gratitude to you. What I can say is that I will miss you, and that to me, to us, and to all of us, you are truly a rock star in every single way. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Grazie.
Since day one, which for me was May 11, 2015, as Maria reminded us, Diane has inspired me as a teacher. Yes, I remember the date, because I was starstruck. And also because that's the first time I realized you could add ing to any word in English. And yes, this was a grammar workshop. And it truly changed my understanding of language and the way I teach language to this day. Since then, Diane has been, for the three of us, but I think for most of us in this room, a role model of how to be a good teacher, a good scholar, a good mother, and a good person. Of course, it's an honor to know the most brilliant expert in second language development. And the more I know her, the more I think she's truly a genius. The amount of very precise and accurate knowledge contained in her brain is simply mind-blowing. And when I say knowledge, I mean for most scientific fields you can think of, but also remembering details that any of her students have shared with her. Because what makes her such a good teacher and a learning expert is the fact that she loves learning, including, of course, from her students. But Diane is much more than a genius. She's an exceptional teacher, also because she really knows how to apply theory to practice, which is not a given for all teaching experts. She doesn't just tell you about the techniques, she shows you in a truly experiential manner. She is the only person I know who can explain complexity theory in terms that are so simple that not only do you understand everything, but it also makes you feel really smart. You know, when you meet some of your heroes, it's often a disappointing experience because they don't sound as good as on paper, or maybe they're a bit arrogant. Diane is just the opposite. Not only does she apply her expertise in the way she teaches, but she's also such a nice and positive person, the kind that gives you faith in academia and in the world. Diane would be very much missed at GSC, but we know we've already been extremely fortunate to spend the last few spring semesters with you. And I wish you the best, especially lots of magic moments with your grandchildren, and that you keep learning and amazing us.
not just into educational linguistics, but any field that involves language learning, from the recognition or from the shift in the epistemological understanding of opposition to development, the lifelong process of development, to the recognition of the complexity of the process, and also about how to go about those complexity in teaching and studying. So we would like to thank you so much. Representing the doctoral students of the Educational Linguistics program today.
So I'm just going to speak from the heart. Thank you so much, Diane, for always treating all of your students like thought partners, like your equals, like people that are ready and willing to learn from you, with us. And I have no words to express of how grateful I was that second semester that I took that class with you, because it was a hard transition to come from being a teacher to a completely new space where I doubted my own abilities, and I know people around me doubted their own abilities. But you really took the time to actually push us and teach us that we already know a lot, and that we should always be willing to learn more. From that to sharing the Whipple Cube, the cube in the corner of the office, to just sharing laughs about and talking about your grandkids. I respect you and I admire you so much. So on behalf of the ELX doc students, we're going to present you with a shirt. So you won't forget us.
Limited edition. Thanks, Jay and Carla. And our next tribute to Diane is from Professor Nancy Hornberger.
You're wondering if anybody can say any more, but actually I do have more to say. So, I'm going to give a perspective that I think in some ways, goes a little bit before some of what you heard today and continues to the present. And some of what I'm going to say is in your programs, but there's a little bit more that's not in your program. Diane Larsen-Freeman is Professor Emerita at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and she's also a distinguished senior faculty fellow at the School for International Training, Graduate Institute. And best of all, she's our beloved faculty member in educational linguistics these past 8 spring semesters. As one of a mere handful of internationally recognized scholars, indeed superstars, in second language development, Diane is the recipient of numerous awards and honors. And I'll just name 2 things that happened recently. Last year, she was honored with a major Festschrift. I don't know if it's here. Complexity Theory and Language Development in celebration of Diane Larsen-Freeman, edited by Lourdes Ortega and Jiaolong Han. And this year, a book just came out. It's an edited volume of her own selected writings titled Second Language Development, Ever Expanding, which is a great title. The story of how Diane came to be spending spring semesters with us these past few years is one that deserves telling, I think. So I'm going to tell it from my point of view. Of course, we all knew of Diane Larsen-Freeman and her work. I, for example, first learned of her in 1986 when I taught structure of English. I bet you didn't know I taught it for the first time, and relied heavily on the combined expertise, usefulness, and accessibility of the grammar book, which has now gone into its third edition and remains an important mainstay of courses in structure of English, as it has for our course. Fast forwarding a couple of decades, after hearing her give an inspiring plenary at AAAL in 2010 on language and language development as complex dynamic systems, I invited her as our Nessa Wolfson colloquium speaker that fall, and we were rewarded with again, an expert, useful, and accessible talk, not to mention a lively and charming personality. Sometime later that evening, I learned that after several hours of waiting at Philly Airport, she hadn't left yet. She was stranded. She wouldn't be able to depart until the next morning. I can't remember whether it was weather or mechanical difficulties, but the long and short of it was that she spent the night at my home, and we, including my husband Steve, who's here somewhere, arose early the next morning to get her back for her early flight. She was determined to get back in time to teach her class that day, which tells you something important about her. Reflecting back now, I think it was that chance to get to know her more informally during that impromptu overnight visit that led me to think first of her the following year when we had the opportunity, and I'm going to acknowledge Andy Porter, who I think is here, who gave us that opportunity. Thank you, Andy. To invite a distinguished senior scholar in second language acquisition to come be with us. With Terry Pica and with our students, as Dr. Pica recovered from the illness that had struck her down in spring 2011. Diane was the ideal choice, a scholar of international stature who is also grounded in years of language teaching experience and has a heart of gold. Lucky us, she accepted and has joined us each spring since then with her generous collegiality, brilliant intellect, and abundant wisdom. It's impossible to enumerate the many ways Diane has enriched our lives in educational linguistics, some of which you've heard from the other speakers. She has given far more than we even had reason to hope for, not only in her brilliant and creative teaching, but also in mentoring master's and Ph.D. students in research, including serving on dissertation committees, mentoring junior faculty teaching courses in second language development and structure of English, mentoring junior faculty in their own research and publication, writing hundreds of recommendation letters for our students, giving workshops at both English language programs and the Penn Language Center, participating and contributing in all our divisional faculty meetings and colloquium events, and on and on. We have indeed felt lucky to have Diane, and grateful that she has wanted to return each year, and grateful to our deans. We have our current dean here, Pam. We're grateful to our deans for allowing this to happen. She has loved being at Penn and working with all of us, and we will miss her tremendously.
She's a scholar and a teacher, no compare. But I think another thing that has come through that I really have felt as a colleague of Diane over the last 8 years is that she could have just come and taught her classes and done her work. Right. But she came and she was part of our community. And she's integrated into the fabric of our division, of the students, faculty, and beyond. So we just are going to miss you a lot, and also won't let you stay away. We're looking forward to the next phase of our relationship with you, and you're welcome back anytime. As a small token of our appreciation, we have local potter created this. And I'd like to present it to you now.
Before Diane takes it, we wanted to give everyone a chance to write a note to her before you go, and then just drop it in the bowl on your way out, so that she has something to take from all of us as she goes.
All right, so now, we have enough bubbly to go around, but we're going to open one ceremonial bottle right now, so we can have a toast to Diane. After this toast, we're going to have the cutting of the cake so that you can all have a taste of a small slice of Diane's scholarship. All right, so. Those guys are going to open another bottle over there, but we're going to say cheers right now. Now, you get to say a few words.
Sarah said, do you want to speak? Do you have any remarks? I said, you betcha. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my colleagues. I'm trying to hold this together. So far, so good. But I was just thinking, as Sarah said, you can write something, put it in the bowl, so I have something to take from you. I thought, oh, you know what? I've got a lot to take from you. And if you want to write a note, that's great. But I had some wonderful memories of my 8 years, and certainly today, heartfelt wishes from all of you is a lot to take from me. That's not what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. But I wrote it out because I wasn't sure I could do this spontaneously. So I wanted to tell you, in case you didn't know, that I've always wanted to be a teacher, even when I was just a young girl. In fact, it wouldn't surprise those of you who know me that I was the firstborn in my family, and that I would make my brother and sisters be my students. I would go into my bedroom, small bedroom, close the door, and on the back of the door, my parents had hung a blackboard. And I would teach them. I made them sit on bed, and I would teach them. So I was thinking about this over the weekend and thinking, well, what did I teach? So I asked my sister, I'm sure my sister would remember what I taught her. She goes, linguistics? About 9, she was about 5, I don't think so. I don't think it was linguistics. And she goes, well, maybe it was arithmetic. But I don't think it was that either. But I hope that you remember 60 years from now what I've taught you as a you were my students, because it is important to keep that going, isn't it? To keep it alive as it's been handed down to us. So, yeah, I had no idea what I taught. It's over 60 years ago. Over 60 years ago. But it started me out in this wonderful career I've had. And the extra piece of that was that fast forward, after I finished my undergraduate degree in psychology, because I was always interested in learning, and so I studied learning theories. I went to Malaysia as a Peace Corps volunteer and taught in Taiwan in a public high school and grade school. That's relevant because it launched me on the international career, which I've been privileged to have ever since. It's also relevant because some of you know this. In June this year, I'm going to go back to Borneo, to Sabah, where I taught 50 years ago. I left in 1969, so I'm going back 50 years later to see my students. Wow. And I understand they have some activities planned, special activities for homecoming. But I haven't been back in 50 years, so it should be very interesting. So many things happening. Now I'm leaving Penn. I don't expect to be back 50 years from now. I don't know if you'll be here. Actually, I hadn't expected to be back after our first year. When Andy Porter contacted me and invited me to come, both of us thinking I was only going to be here 1 year. And so I'm grateful for that opportunity, Andy, and 8 years have passed. Hard to believe. I can see it in your daughter. I can see it in Grace. And they've been a good 8 years. Thanks to the students who worked hard, who've made me work hard, and from whom I've learned so much, those of you present and generations graduating. I'm grateful too for my colleagues. Some of them have become real friends, and spouses too, or spouses too. And all who have suffered my frequent questions, hurriedly delivered in hallway conversations like, do you think objects have agency? And what are we going to do to measure accuracy if we no longer have a native speaker model as our norm? What are we going to do with that? And do you think sociocultural theory is like complex dynamic systems theory? What was the other one I've been asking lately? Oh yeah, how should we understand paradox? Remember that, Nancy? How should we understand paradox in language teaching and learning, and many, many more. Thank you, colleagues, for your friendship. I don't know whatever you're going to do, though, next January when it comes time, and I'm not here to have the Welcome Back Diane party. Which we do every January, and this year we have to make do the birthdays, that's all. The birthday celebrations. Thank you to the extraordinary ELX staff. They are amazing in their cheerfulness and their competence, always there for me. I hope you feel appreciated. I also want both faculty and staff to know how special your division is. Where you all are, to look at you. How special your division is. I think, as Lilo and Stitch put it, Ohana. Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. I feel that way about the division. Thanks to the leadership and leaders we've had together. To my GSE colleagues outside of ELX, I miss you too. Sometimes it's only a smile in the hallway or a coffee, quick coffee, but you've enriched or helped me with the computer. Enriched my experience in the pen enormously. He's afraid to go past my door. I can't fail to mention the administrative staff outside of ELX for the logistics. Is Carl still here? She had to leave. Carl had to leave. But the staff has been enormously welcoming, and I'm a visitor, right? I always feel like I should apologize because I'm extra workload for them. They have never said that. Maybe they tell each other that. They never said to me, you're extra, you don't count, we don't want to do this. They've always facilitated my coming and my going, and I'm very grateful to that. Pam, I've known you for a long time. I've known you for your teacher scholarship, your teacher education scholarship, and the awards you've gotten, the induction into the American Association of Arts and Sciences, which is one of your latest. But I've never known you as my dean. You're my dean now. And that's really important because I'm going to quote you now, thanking you for your, quote, abiding commitment to building a professional community where all feel welcome and respected. It may not be a perfect community yet, but I know that you will work hard towards building one. So thank you for that. I'll also miss all this great university has to offer. Just this last month, I went to Walt Whitman with my husband Elliot. I went to Walt Whitman's bicentennial. I went to, the Sylvan Forum, the panel on opioid addiction. I went to a lecture given, what is it called? The Pica lecture, cognitive science lecture, where a very inspiring female neuroscientist spoke at Untitled Organizing Behavior Across Timescales. I'm going to miss that. Stimulation, stimulating things. And then there's the Penn Museum, the library, the swimming pool, most recently my Pilates class. Elliot and I will miss Philadelphia with all its jewels. There's just so much in the city. And we've been able to enjoy it over the years with our kids and grandkids. I won't miss working 7 days a week. And Elliot won't miss loading and unloading the car twice a year. That's for sure, for 8 years. I trust that we'll be in touch, some of us anyway. I'll have the pleasure of speaking at conferences. I may run into you in the next few months. I'm going to be speaking in China, Malaysia, Iran this year or next, Mongolia and Cambodia. And yes, Michigan as well. And I think I might need a passport there too, because I'm speaking at the other Michigan State, East Lansing, not the flagship university of Michigan. Anybody here a Spartan? Anybody here? Are you a Spartan?
Professor there for 21 years.
Oh my! Look what I just did. I missed my opportunity. Well, go green. How's that? I'm eager to spend more time with my family, my grandchildren. And speaking of grandchildren, I also want to, and their parents, they would probably too. I also want to participate more concertedly in activism on helping to address the challenges that we all face collectively, and our children, our grandchildren, and our friends' grandchildren certainly will do that. I'm talking, of course, about climate change and social justice and economic inequity. I've been doing it sporadically, marching here and there, making donations here and there, but I'd like to make that more central to my efforts because I think it's really important. And then, believe it or not, I'm really looking forward to and curious about experiencing emptiness, exploring it. No looming deadlines, no lessons to prepare, no visas to obtain. Well, that may happen. What will it be like, I wonder? What will it be like, I wonder? I'm curious. To close, I promise to take you all with me in some way or other. I suppose not literally, but in terms of the good feelings, certainly evidenced today, and that I deserve. The stimulating thinking and the warmth that you've all shown me. And lest you think that I'm joking, I wanted to point out that I'll seal that pledge of bringing you with me by showing you that today I'm wearing 10 colors. Thank you all very much.
The last thing we're going to ask Diane to do is...
We have class tomorrow, by the way. And they were staying next to me.
Now I hope you all have seen the beautiful cake. It does have a fractal on top. And we want you to...
Autograph cake?
We want you to take the first ceremonial cut. Anne's going to monitor.